Hello dear students, welcome to the second session of our chapter number 10, Introduction to C Language. In the first session, we have discussed about the need of programming language, what is the need of translator, program and the characteristics of a program, C character set that helps us to make the C words, keywords, identifier. So C characters set the letter, digit, white space and special character. 4 C characters set we have discussed. Then after C words that helps us to learn the new language, that we have discussed, that if we want to learn the new language we have to first discuss is grammar. So the C character set it's grammar, and based on that we can learn that how to make the words and how to make the keywords, the inbuilt keywords of the C language. The identifier means the name that is defined by the user, that identifiers, and the variable. Variable means the holder of anything that holds something during the whole execution of your program. And which are the rules to define the variable name, that all the things we have discussed in our previous session. Today we are going to begin the new session, and let's just start it. So first we will begin it with the constant. So constant means what? Constant means the entities, the objects that will not change its value during the whole execution of program are known as a constant. Means which are the variables that will not change its value during the whole execution of program. Suppose I have defined the variable a, okay, and I have given the value static, that is 10. So that 10 value will remain as it is during the whole execution of program. So that type of variables are known as a constants. And these constants are divided into the different categories that we will see here in the next image. So here you can see these are the types of constant. So basically 4 types of constants are there. Remember students, how many types of constant? 4. Numeric constant, symbolic constant, backslash constant and character constant. Now numeric constant is further divided into 2 categories, that is the integer and real. So integer means whole number. The value that is assigned as a constant, that is the whole number, then that will be considered as an integer constant. And if the value assigned is it's in the fractional number, then that will be considered as a real constant. Then after symbolic constant, that is the numeric constants represented by the name. And backslash constant, that is the special 2 character constants that is preceded with the forward slash sign. Then after the character constant, it is also further divided into the 2 categories, single character and string character. So character constants, here example is given, the single character constants are written in the single quotation mark with the its name, and there is compulsory only one character is there in the single character constant. And the string means the set of character enclosed in the double quotation mark. Here you can see the Vidita means any name is written with the double quotation mark, no single character, the group of characters that will make the string constant. So one by one we will discuss in a detail, and first we are going to begin with the numeric constant. So numeric constant. The numeric constant are divided into 2 categories. So further 2 categories are there that we have discussed. One is the integer constant and one is the real constant. So there are 3 types of integer constant. So integer constant is further divided into 3 categories, that is the decimal, hexadecimal and octal. So remember that integer constant is divided into 3 types, that is the decimal, hexadecimal and octal, and the second one category is the real constant. So first we will see integer constant. So integer means the whole number, no fractional part. The whole number is known as the integer. And in our day-to-day life, the number system that we are using is the decimal number system. So here we have three types of integer constants, that is the decimal, hexadecimal and octal. So we will see its use and with its example. So the decimal constant have a base of 10. Okay, means decimal constants use the numeric digits, that is 0 to 9. And with the help of this 0 to 9 only we are making the different number series. So we can use as a prefix unary plus or minus with such numbers. So means how we can identify that this number is a decimal constant. So if the number is a combination of a 0 to 9, okay, and before the number as a prefix either plus sign or is there or minus sign, then this number will be considered as a decimal constant. Then after the next is the hexadecimal constant. Use the numeric digits, that is 0 to 9 and letters A to F. So now hexadecimal has a base of 16. Okay, means in the hexadecimal how many numbers are included? That is the 16 number. So that is from 0 to 9 and 8 to F. And here 8 to F will be considered as a 10 to 15 respectively. So you can say that it holds the value that is 0 to 15, but 0 to 9 digits and 8 to F. 8 to F only alphabets are supported there. When using this value in a C, we differentiate it from the decimal number by using 0 and X or 0 capital X as a prefix. Means how you can differentiate that this one is the hexadecimal constant or this one is the decimal constant. So in the decimal as a prefix plus or minus sign is there, and in the hexadecimal as a prefix 0x, either small x or the capital X is written as a prefix, means before the number. So if 0x you are finding anywhere before the number, then this will be considered as a hexadecimal constant. Then after the octal constant, use the numeric digits, that is the 0 to 7, and the base of this number system is a 8. Okay, that is why it is known as a octal. And which numbers are included there? That is from the 0 to 9, 8 digits. Okay, 0 to 7, sorry, 0 to 7, 8 digits. When using this value in a C, we differentiate it from the decimal number by using 0 as a prefix. Okay, so here to differentiate the octal with the two earlier discussed constants, then as a prefix here it's used, that is the 0 number. Okay, so here we have discussed the integer constant, and in the integer constant we have discussed the decimal constant. So as a prefix in the decimal it's used the plus and minus sign. In the hexadecimal it uses the 0 and X or 0 capital X, and in the octal it uses the 0 as a prefix. So now we will see one of the example, some of the example which are the valid and invalid of a constant. So first you can see here the 40,000 is written, that is the valid decimal positive whole number. Okay, here plus sign is not there, but that is the positive only, and here you can see plus and minus, plus that is the positive number. So it's the example of decimal constant. Minus 120. So this is also whole number and minus is there as a prefix. Okay, so this is also the example of decimal constant. Then after here the 7999L, it's a valid positive long whole number. So this is the example of a long number. Then after O0xB5. So this is the example of hexadecimal number. As we told here, as a prefix what is written? OX, and B5 is the value. So B, A to F alphabets are supported there. So B is under the F A to F. Okay, so that is why it's a valid hexadecimal number. Then after 0x and 79, so that is also the valid hexadecimal number. And 045, so as a prefix you can see here the 0 is written before the number, so that is why it is the valid octal number. Then after invalid example, so here you can see the 25,000 is written but comma is there, so comma is not allowed here, so that is why this is the invalid, this is not the decimal constant. Then after minus minus 100.0, so this is also wrong because this is the real constant, fractional number is there. Then after rupees is written, so rupees, the alphabets are not allowed here. Then O, X and G is not within the A to F, that is why it is not the hexadecimal constant. OX89, that comma is not allowed, and 096, so 9 is not allowed in the octal. Octal considers only 0 to 7, this is why this is not the octal constant. So these are the some of the examples. So like this you have to identify that which number belongs to which integer constant based on its prefix. Then after, the next is a real constant. So real constant refers to the decimal numbers that have the fractional part. This is similar to integer constant only, but in the integer constant only whole number are there. Okay, no fractional numbers. And real constant that represents the integer value that has the fractional part. So here the example of real constant are 10.15, minus 65.75, etc. So both are supported over here, that is plus or minus. So real constant can also be represented by using the scientific form. So in this form, a number is represented using a mantissa and exponent. So remember, the real constant it also that represented using the scientific form with the help of the mantissa and exponent. So for example, here 25.75 number is there, that is the fractional number, real number, that can be represented in the scientific form as the 0.2575 E2 or 0.2575 capital E2. So here in this example, the 0.2575 is known as a mantissa. Okay, and here the 2 is known as a exponent. And both the E, the small e and the capital E, that are the equivalent. Any of the E they can use. So here these are the real constant that either it can be formed or it can be represented through the real fractional numbers, or they can be represented with the scientific form with the help of mantissa and exponent. Now here the example of some real constant. So 250.00, that this is the valid fractional number. Then 295.00 automatically converted to the real constant. Then after minus 15.55, that is the valid negative number. Minus 20.5 E5, that is the valid scientific form of a number. And 15 E minus 2, that is also valid scientific value. So here you have seen these are the valid real constant. Then after, here you can see the first one, in the first one comma is there, so comma is not allowed, so that is the wrong example. This is not the example of real. Then after, before dollar is there, so special characters are also not allowed, so this is also wrong example. This is not the real number. Then minus 9.5 E and 5.0, so the exponent that should be integer, means the exponent that we are using, that must be in the form of integer, not in the fractional part. Then after, the 51 E and minus 2, so the blank spaces are not allowed there when you are specifying the constant to its variable. So these are the things we have to remember over here. So the exponent should be integer. Okay, so here you just see in the valid example, if you will think that minus 20.5 is there. Okay, so this is also fractional number, but you just see the exponent value, that is minus 20.5 is the mantissa. Okay, and E5 is the exponent, so this 5 is the integer. Okay, but here you just see minus 9.4 is the mantissa, that is fractional, their fractional is around. Okay, but E, then after space is also there, and 5.0, that is the fractional number. So with the exponent the fractional number is not allowed. Okay, so here the examples of some valid and invalid real constant. Then after, the next is the character constant. So we have seen the character constant is also divided into two parts, that is single character constant and string constant. So a single character constant is represented by a single character enclosed within the single quote. So remember students, in the single character constant only one character is there. Okay, remember, only one character from the alphabet, and that must be enclosed in the single quotation mark. So some example of single character constants are single quotation mark H, then after single quotation mark V, single quotation mark 7, single quotation mark $, etc. So here each character constant is associated with a numeric value known as a ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Remember the full form of ASCII. So each and every this character constant has a specific number value assigned with it, that is known as a ASCII value. So about the ASCII value we'll discuss in the next chapter in the detail. Okay, so now just you have to remember that each and every this alphabets has a numeric value assigned to it, and this numeric value is known as the ASCII value. Then after string constant. Now what is the difference between the string constant and the character constant? Okay, so in the single character constant only one character is there, but in the string constant there are a group of a characters. Okay, and that is included now as a in a double quotation mark, and single character constants are included in a single quotation mark. Okay, so here the example of string constants are, you can see double quotation mark and C language, double quotation mark by. So here the group of characters are there. Okay, but here you just see the third one example is double quotation mark V. Okay, so this the same example is there in the single character constant also, but they both are not equal. Okay, here the string double quotation mark V will be allocated 2 memory spaces, while the character V that is included in the single quotation mark will be allocated only 1 memory space. Okay, because 1 is the character constant and 1 is the string constant. So when the string constant is there, minimum it will allocate the 2 memory space. Why? Because every string in the C language that is ended by the adding, that is / and 0 in the single quotation mark it's written, so that is the null character. Okay, so if you are writing one character also as a string, then also by default it has the 2 characters. One is your character that is defined by you, and one is the ending character that is the null character. Instead, in the character constant only one character is there that is assigned by you. Okay, and here in the string constants it doesn't have any ASCII value associated with it. So remember, single character constant has the ASCII value assigned to it, and string character constant has a no ASCII value, but it has the null character that will be added at the last of the string. Okay, at the end of the string. Then after the next is the backslash characters. So the string character constant, as the name suggests, the single character, while this string character uses the sequence of character. Now here C also provide a special character constant that is known as a backslash characters, and that uses the two characters. Okay, having the single character, only one character was there. Same as here in the backslash characters, compulsory how many characters are there? Two characters. And these characters are known as a constants are known as a backslash characters or escape sequences. Remember that backslash characters are also known as a escape sequences. So they are known as a backslash characters as the first character is always a backslash. Okay. So here you can see the sign that is written in the double quotation mark. Okay, that is the slanting line. So this character is known as a backslash character, and these constants must be begin with this backslash sign, and that is why it is known as a backslash characters. And another name is the escape sequence. So why it is known as a escape sequence? So this constants or the variable that has the constant, so the output of this constant is not a character, but always that will give the output will be the white space values. Okay, so that is why it is known as a escape sequences. White space values means what? With the help of this backslash character constants, you can give the effect of a enter. Okay, means the text, if you want to bring the in a new line, then the enter effect will come, the space effect will come, the single space you can give, the multiple space, the tab effect will come. So like this, the white space value or white spaces, as the output we will get the white spaces option. Okay, then after, similar to single character constant, this character constants also have an ASCII value associated with them. So every character backslash characters assign the numeric value to it, that is the ASCII value. And here we will see the example of this backslash characters with their ASCII value. So the first backslash character is the /o, that to insert the null value that we have seen. Okay, the /o we have seen, that is known as a null character, and that is added after every string constant. Then after /a, that is used to insert the audible alert, and the ASCII value of it, that is 7. Then after /b, so that is to insert the backspace. So here if you want to remove something, then backspace key will not work. Okay students, here you have to remember this backslash characters. If you want to go back one letter, then you have to use the /b. The ASCII value is 8. Then after /t, to insert the horizontal tab, that is the ASCII value is 9. Then after /n, to insert a new line. Okay, means to go in a new line, that is the ASCII value is 10. /v, to insert the vertical tab, ASCII value is 11. /f, that is inserting a from feed, that ASCII value is 12. /r, the inserting carriage return, the ASCII value is 13. Then /double quote, to insert the double quotes, that is 35. /single quote, that is used to insert the single quote, ASCII value is 39. /question mark, that is inserting a question mark, ASCII value is 63. And double slash, that is inserting a backslash. See, backslash is already assigned, or this all the constants are known as a backslash constant. But if you want to insert the backslash, then that also you have to use along with the backslash character. So if you want to display something with the backslash, then how many backslash you have to use? That is 2. Okay, and the ASCII value of backslash, that is the 92. So these all are the backslash characters. characters. You have to remember this, because while we will work with the program, if you want to go in a new line, then also you have to remember this character. With the slash and only you can move into the new line. So these are the backslash constant with their ASCII value. ASCII value means what? ASCII value means the each and every key of the keyboard has the ASCII value assigned to it. Okay, means either you can use the code or that characters with the help of their name or with the help of their ASCII values. Then the next is the symbolic constant. Okay, symbolic constant, that certain numeric and character constant can be defined using the symbolic identifier. So such constants are known as a symbolic constant. So when this type of constants are needed, okay, suppose in the scientific form some of the objects have a specific value. In the flow chart we have discussed one example, that write a program to calculate the area of a circle. Okay, so to find out the area of a circle, the formula was there, and in the formula the pi was there, 2 pi r. Okay, so the pi has a constant value, that is the 3.14, and that value we cannot change according to our wish. So this type of values that can be defined as a symbolic constant. Okay, so to define a symbolic constant we use the given syntax. So to define the symbolic constant, one syntax is defined here. Okay, so first hash define, that is compulsory, you have to write it down, hash define. Okay, then after single space and identifier. Identifier means your variable name. Okay, for that you are providing the constant value, and then after the value. So here hash define is known as a preprocessor directive. So remember, hash define is known as a preprocessor directive. Identifier is the symbolic name of the constant that we want to define. Okay, and the value is the constant itself. So some example of symbolic constants are here, that is hash define. So this is hash define is what? Preprocessor directive. Pi is our identifier or the symbolic name. Okay, the name to which we want to give the constant value. So pi is my identifier and the constant value of pi, that is 3.14. Okay, same as I have written the hash define preprocessor directive, max value and maximum value is the 100. Hash define f, and f means here I am defining the f for a float. Okay, so here the first statement defines the symbolic constant called pi, that refers to a real value 3.14. Fractional number is the real value it has. Okay, so second statement defines the symbolic constant called max value, that refers to the integer value 100. And the last statement defines the symbolic constant that called f, that refers to a keyword float in the C language. So the preprocessor directive, what is the use of hash define? Okay, so this hash define will give the instruction to the compiler. Okay, so it will tell the compiler that whenever this type of symbol, whenever this type of symbolic constant are used in the program, like a pi, okay, then the pi value must be replaced by its constant value as a 3.14. So means once we have written this line, then after every time no need to put 3.14 everywhere where pi is written. Okay, if in your program you are using pi, then compiler will automatically replace your pi as a value 3.14. So let's see example over here. So you just see, first hash define f float is written, hash define p, that is printf, hash define as a scanf, and hash define pi 3.14. so this all are the symbolic constant, and that has the specific values assigned to it. And hash define is a preprocessor directive. Then after integer main is written, this is our main function. In this we are using all the things. Now you will not understand, but still yet we have not discussed any program. So first you just see here that f radius and area is written. You just see now the S area is equals to 4 multiplied by pi multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. Okay. So here you just see pi is written as it is here. So when compiler will see this pi, it is defined as a symbolic constant and it has given the value as a 3.14. So automatically at the place of pi, the compiler will put 3.14 there. Okay, so that means 4 multiplied by 3.14 multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. Like this it will work. The example we are not going to discuss in the detail because still we have not discussed any of the C program. That is why you will not understand it. But now just you have to understand the concept of a symbolic constant and how it will work. Then the next thing is the structure of C program. Because before discussing or before creating any program in a language, first we have to understand its structure, and structure provides the way to write down the program. Okay, so if you know the structure that how to write the program, then only you can create the program very easily. So first we will see the structure over here. So first is the documentation. So your program should begin with the documentation. Then after symbolic constant definition, that now only we have discussed, that is the symbolic constant. Then after file include section and global variable declaration. So these are the optional section. Okay. Then after the compulsory section for all C programs, that is the main function. So main is a compulsory for every C program, because through the main only your program execution will begin, your program will start. Okay, so in the main is the function, then after it has the curly braces, it will begin with the curly braces and it will end also with the curly braces, and whatever you want to write it down in the main function, that must be within this curly braces. So this is known as the scope of your program. That is the compulsory section. And the third section is the user defined functions. So function 1, function 2 and function n. So this is the main advantage of C language, students. C language will allow you to divide your program into the different small sections, and that division you can make by providing or by writing your own user defined function. So these are that the function 1, function 2 and function n. That will make your program more readable, that will make your program easy. Whenever any problem is coming in your program, that will not be a more complex one, because it is divided into the different functions, so we can resolve it very nicely. So this is the structure of the C program. Now we will see that parts in a detail. Documentation section. Documentation means what? So whenever we are preparing any document in any of the program, okay, so first we are writing the heading of that program, means what is the purpose of this document, the date, something that we are writing. Okay, so this section is the optional section and it indicates the used for the purpose of the documentation, and it is enclosed within the slash and asterisk and asterisk and slash. So whatever the documentation you are writing, you have to write it on within this sign. Okay, so first that is the forward slash and asterisk, and then after first asterisk, and it will end as a first asterisk and the forward slash. So whenever the text is enclosed within it, it is considered as a comment in a C. So means in the documentation section we are writing comment, and comments are not processed by the compiler and are left as it is. So what is the use of compiler that we have discussed? Okay, whatever the coding we are writing in our program, that coding will be translated into the machine understandable language by the compiler, but compiler will not translate the lines or the statements that is written inside the comment. How we can write it on the comment? That is forward slash and asterisk, and then after asterisk and forward slash. So this section is normally used to tell about the purpose of your program. Okay, suppose you are creating the program to add two numbers, then you can write down that the program of to add two numbers. So that this is known as the documentation or the definition of your program, about the author, about the date of creation, etc. So remember here, comments in a C program can be added anywhere. Anywhere you can write it on the comments, and this comments is writing the comments is very good practice, because to use comments within the function, as it improves the readability and understanding of the program. So whatever the things we don't know, so whenever initially when as a beginner we are started using this section or this C language, initially we have to write it down comments. Okay, because through the comments only we will understand that why we have used this line in our program. So then after the symbolic constant definition, so that we have already discussed with the example. So we are giving some of the constant value to the variable, and that will be replaced during the execution of the program by the compiler. So this is the symbolic constant that we have discussed. Then after file include section, so C provides the inbuilt or library functions. Means two types of functions are there, students. One is the user defined function and one is the inbuilt or library function. How many types of functions? Two. So this inbuilt and library function is the system defined function, means that is already there in the system, which are the software we are using to write it on the C program. In this software these functions are already defined. So these functions have a predefined purpose, like power. Okay, so power function is used for the calculating values of x raised to given power value, it is used to find it out. Okay, then after square root, so it is used to find the square root of a given number. So we can use these functions in our program if needed. Means this type of functions are ready-made function, already there, just we have to use it with its name. Okay, so to use these functions in our program, we have to include the file that holds the information about this function. Okay, means these functions are ready made, but somewhere it is written. Okay, means we are not going to create it, but just in which file these functions are written, we have to include that files in our program. Okay, so these files are known as a header files in a C, and the extension of header file is a .h. So we use the syntax hash include file name .h to include header files in our program. So here about the header files we are going to discuss further in the next chapters. So here you just assume that why we are using the header files. Header files is useful to use the inbuilt functions of a C language. Okay, then after next, global variable declaration. So global variable declarations means what? We have discussed the structure of a C programming. Okay, so in the C programming, in the main function, as I told you that the main function will begin with the curly bracket and that will end with the curly bracket. Okay, so it has the whatever the value you are using inside the square curly brackets, that value has the scope during this curly bracket only. If you will use that variable after curly bracket, then that will not work. Okay, so here the variable that is defined before the curly brackets, that is known as a global variable, and the variables that is defined within the curly bracket, that is known as the local variables of a main function. So remember students, two types of variables are there, global variable and local variable. Global variable means what? The variable that is defined before the curly bracket, that known as the global variable, and the variables that is defined within the curly brackets, that is known as the local variables. Then after main function and user defined function. So main function is the core part of your C program structure. Okay, because all C program contains one function with the name as a main function, and this is the function from where the execution of any C program starts. Okay, means if you are not using main function in your program, then the program execution is not possible. The control is first transferred to the main function, and from there the rest of the operations are carried out. Okay, means first control of the program will go to the main function, and then main function will handle all the activities in your program. Okay, then the user defined function. C provides us a facility of breaking a single program into a set of small pieces. So these pieces are known as a function. As I told you that if the program is very big, suppose you want to create the program to perform the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square root, the this type of function or this type of program you want to create, then you can make the different function, that one function for addition, one function for division, one function for multiplication. Okay, so during the program writing time, if any mistake is there, okay, then you can see that particular part only. We will see the example here first, and first we will see the points to remember in the C program. Okay, because now we have discussed all the things over here. So first here the header file should be included before the main function that we have discussed. Why we are using the header file? To use the inbuilt functions of our C program. Then after, an executable C program should always contain a main function. Then after, the execution of C program starts from the first opening curly brackets after main. Means first you have to, after header file what will come? Main function. Okay. Then after main function what will come? Starting curly bracket. Then after, two functions with the same name are not allowed. Okay, so you cannot give the similar functions name over here and similar variable names also. Then after, normally C program consists of a lower letter alphabets and identifiers are the case sensitive. Means normally you have to write it on all the things in the small letters. There should be at least one blank space between the two words of a C program. Okay, single space should be there. Usually C statements end with the semicolon. Remember, the semicolon must be there after most of the statements, that will be ended with the semicolon. Comment can be inserted wherever a blank space can be inserted. Okay, means anywhere you can write it down the comment in the program. Every opening bracket should have a corresponding closing curly bracket, and after providing all the things closing curly bracket, there your main function will get over or your program will get over. Now we will see the basic program. So here you can see the comment is there first. Okay. So example 6, my C program, that is the documentation of my program. Okay, then after you can see here hash include stdio.h. This is the header file, and this header file we are including because the printf function is written in the header file stdio.h, standard input output file. Then after, this integer main, this is our main function. Then after opening curly bracket, then after our simple message. Through the printf you can print anything on a screen. Okay, So this printf function is the inbuilt function that is not created by us. Okay, this is the inbuilt function that is defined. Okay, means the coding of this function is done in this stdio.h file. That is why we have included this file over here, and that is known as a header file, and every header file has the extension .h. Then after printf, welcome to the world of C programming, then /n. See, this /n is the backslash character, and that will bring the cursor into the new line. Then after C, every C statement must end with the semicolon. So whatever the sign you are seeing at the last of the statement, that is known as the semicolon sign, and then after closing curly bracket. So this is the simple C program based on the structure we have discussed of the C program. Then after here you can see that we have discussed that we can divide the program into the different user defined functions. So here you just see documentation is the program to subtract two numbers. Then after header file #include stdio.h. See here as many times comments you can use here. So prototype statement of a function sub. So that we are not going to discuss, but you just see here in integer subtract is written at the last. Okay, that 4 lines are known as the functions. So like this the function is used to do the calculation of the subtraction. So like this you can divide the program into the different small parts. So here for the subtraction is the same as you can write it down function for the addition, for the multiplication, like this. So like this we can create the program, and first you have to remember the basic program that we have discussed without any type of logic, just to print a message on a screen. Then after next is the execution of a C program. So first user types the data in the text editor. Okay, whatever where we will create the program in the text editor, and here the Skite we are using to write it down our program in the Linux operating system, Skite. Okay, then after whenever we are first time writing our program in the Skite editor, that will become the source code. Okay, then after we have written program in the C language. Okay, now the translator will come, the compiler. Okay, so the compiler will translate our C language code into the machine understandable code. Then after our source code will become the object code. Okay, then after linker will come. Okay, so we have used the header files. Okay, so linker will link our program, join our program through that to that header files that we have included in our program. Okay, the library files. So once our program is linked with the library files, that will become the executable code. Okay, and at the last the loader will load our program, our linked program, into the memory for the final output. So this is the execution process of a program. First the program will be written in the editor, that will become the source code, then that will be translated into the machine code, then it will become the object code, then the linker will link our program to the header files, and then it will become the executable code, and then loader will load our program to the memory, and then the final output will be there. Now at the last we are going to discuss about the history of C. So we have learned how to do the programming in a C, and the basic features we have discussed. Okay, now we will discuss the history of C, the origin, where the C language derived. Okay, and where it is developed. It was developed in the year 1972 in the Bell Laboratories by the Dennis M. Ritchie. Okay, so Dennis Ritchie has developed the concept of a C language in the 1972. It was derived in the 1972. Then after that is derived from the Basic Combined Programming Language, BCPL. Means the origin of this language is the BCPL. That from that language this C language is derived. The aim of developing C language was to build the robust system software. but it became a pet of a programmers in the coming years and has been used for the developing all kind of software. Okay. Hence, it has come to be known as a general purpose programming language. The aim was to develop the robust system, but then after most of the programmers were used to this language, and then after most of the softwares were developed through this language only, and that is why that language becomes the general purpose programming language. The language was born in the 1972, but it was standardized in the year 1989 by American National Standard Institute, ANSI. Okay, means who has standardized this programming language and when? ANSI has standardized this language in the year 1989. ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute, and that is why it is also known as a ANSI-C. And different operating systems and compiler supports these standards. So these standards is supported for in each and every operating system and with most of the compilers. Now C is a structured language. See, it is a structured language. You can structure the program with the help of the broken pieces. Okay, so our program is broken into the small pieces, and these pieces are known as the functions that we have discussed. So this is the main advantage of this language, that you can create a program. Modular programming you can do over here. These functions once generated are reusable, means once you have created one function, that function you can use again. Set of such functions has becomes a C program. Okay, means C is the combination of a multiple user defined function. Taking such approach helps us to solve problem arising in program easily. Means this functional approach that helps us to solve the problem very easily, as we have to concentrate only one function rather than the entire program. Means if one mistake is there in one function, then we have to see that function only, no need to check the whole program. Suppose 500 lines of program is there. Okay, so no need to check the 500 lines once if the program is written with the help of function. Usually programs written in a C can be ported to different machines having different operating system and compilers with almost negligible modification. Means whatever the programs you are preparing here in the C language, that is supported with most of the applications, most of the operating system and most of the compilers with the minor modification, and thus it is considered to be a portable language, and that is why it is known as a portable language. Why? Because it is supported in all operating system and in all the compilers. C is also considered to be a middle level language by some people and higher language by others. So it is considered as a middle level language or a higher level language. In any case, it has all the features that a programmer would like to have. Okay, means C is the general purpose programming language. So whatever the features are needed for the programmer to do the programming, that most of the features are available in the C language, and that is why C is the basic language for the programming. If the programmer knows the C language well, then he or she can do the programming in any other language very easily. So now we are going to conclude our chapter number 10, students. So I hope you understood this chapter well. Which are the things we have discussed in this session? That is the constant, structure of a C program, sample example of a C program, execution of C program, and history of a C. So I hope you understood all these concepts well. Thank you, students.